So the Alter Rebbe, our teacher, author over 200 years ago of this book, says that this book will answer all of your questions. All of your questions that have to do with divine service. So what is divine service? Well, some people just think when they go to synagogue, well, that's when you are involved in divine service. Or maybe when you are at home observing, a holiday or the Sabbath, Shabbos. But the truth is, divine service can be every moment of your life, because every moment of your life is an opportunity where you could serve a higher purpose. Literally every moment. Putting on your shoes could be a divine act. Kabbalistically, there's a way to put on your shoes. Your right foot first, right shoe first, that is. Then your left shoe. You tie your left shoe first, and then your right shoe. What does that mean? Why? Everything begins with the right. Right is chesed, kindness. So first thing is kindness. Then you put on the left, which is gvura, which is strength, which is the power of refrain. And then when you're tying, which is an act of restraining, so the left goes first, because that's an act of the left. So you tie that first, and then you do the right. A simple act like tying your shoes can be divine service of God. All the more so, of course, when it comes to other areas in our lives, that we can connect them to the will of God, what God needs and wants from us. It's a very powerful idea. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We continue today in the compiler's forward. We concluded where the Alter Rebbe sees himself only as a compiler, not as an author. He's not contributing anything. Well, I wouldn't say that he would, in his own estimation, would think he's not contributing anything new. But it's just an extension. That's the key. His teachings are an extension of everything of the past. And in fact, that's a very healthy way that we look at ourselves. That we come from somewhere and we're continuing where we come from as an extension of where you come from. What a way to look at your life. And it's true. What happened to the individuality? The individuality is there, which is quite evident that the Alter Rebbe's teachings are unique to him, right? But in his humility, he doesn't see it. And it's not what the focus is. He's just an extension and carrying forward everything of the past. And when we know of our dear Rebbe, our Rebbe in our generation, the seventh generation, seventh from the first. The Alter Rebbe is the first generation. Our Rebbe is the seventh generation. The Rebbe almost never referred to himself when he spoke. He always referred to the previous Rebbe as being the Rebbe of the generation, because he just sees himself as an extension. Yes, in fact, the Rebbe as an extension accomplished things that no other Rebbe ever did. 5,000 Chabad houses throughout the world. No one ever accomplished such a thing. Not from Moses till today. Not Abraham. He only had his own Chabad house. Right? He didn't have, a second one. If it was, then it was he set up. He moved from Beersheba and he went to Hebron, right, and set up there. But the key point over here is the key point is that they see that as just an extension of everything that came before them. And their sense is that's what they are. Even though there's an individuality and a uniqueness in what they're doing. It's a really very powerful message to live with. So what I try at least, is to see myself as an extension of the Rebbe. That's it. At least I think that way. I hope. Sometimes I act that way. So in conclusion, the Alter Rebbe actually says something that already in the approbations were said by Reb Zusha from Manipur, from Yehuda Leib the Kohen, and from the sons of the Alter Rebbe. Actually, I don't know if the sons, because and that is that these, what he called contrasting, because before that they were pamphlets that were being distributed and they were copied by hand before they went to the printer. And because there were a lot of mistakes that were made, many exceedingly great mistakes, and some of them were purposeful mistakes by people in order to, with ill intentions, to bring down the Alter Rebbe. Therefore, the spirit of noblemen generously moved to make a personal and financial effort to clear the dross of these copyist errors, and he congratulates them for the worthy deed to bring it to print. But it was very costly for them. And therefore, says the Alter Rebbe, cursed be he who encroaches on a fellow's border, as the verse says in Deuteronomy, in the curses. And I'm only coming to add, to reinforce that which the Torah already tells us, that you can't encroach on someone else's livelihood. And therefore making a strict prohibition on all publishers against printing this book without the permission of the two people or the printers. And that is for 5 years. It wasn't permanent. Anybody who wants to print is welcome. But they could print. But for 5 years, that way they recoup their investment. And furthermore, that way if someone else is going to print it and maybe print it with errors, well, whether willfully or not, at least in the 5 years after the printing, the Tanya, it will become a commonplace book that people will have with the right printing, without any errors. And he concludes, may it be pleasant for those who comply, and may they be blessed with good. These are the words of the compiler of the aforementioned Likutei Amorim. Concludes the foreword. Tomorrow we begin chapter 1. So how important it was to make sure that the book should be, um, excuse me, should be printed properly and without, the mistakes that people had made, again, willfully or not. Let's say hello to Jean. Welcome, Pennsylvania. Ahmad in Egypt. Oh, welcome. Zar is in Malaysia with us. Liba and Davida in New York, welcome. Lori is with us in North Carolina. Ron in Pennsylvania, if I recall. Martina. Welcome. John in North is in, oh my gosh, in North Carolina, right? In North Carolina. Who else is joining us? Sandy in Michigan. Ellie. Welcome. Ellie. Dana is with us in Washington. Michael in Germany. Hey, Michael. Good to see you're here. Gillies in Georgia. Who else is with us? Okay. We have Vilma, we have Celeste, we have Marcy, we have Akoy in Lima, Peru, Rachel in South Carolina, Ruth is with us, Yiddish Medela, Yenta de la Venta, Adam in Indonesia, Amy 770, Michelle, Jennifer in Minnesota, Hamid in Montreal. We have from Morocco with us, Driss. Levi is all right. All right, that's it for today. Rambam coming up. And JLI tonight for those who are part of Ron in Albany, New York. All right, wonderful. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure. Privilege and a pleasure, it really is, to learn with you, Tanya. Have an amazing, wonderful day. Thank you for joining.